Welcome to this Gateway House weekly briefing podcast. Neelam, this week there's been a series of terrorist attacks, starting, of course, with the Chennai railway station here in India during the elections, as well as the tragic Boko Haram kidnapping in Nigeria. Can you talk us through these?
Well, the attack at the explosion in the train which was in the Chennai railway station was actually the first actual terrorist attack in the course of our month-long election. So, in one sense, we should actually be grateful that there hasn't been any other such disruptive activities. There is no clear evidence of who undertook this explosion, because no group has claimed it yet. But there are some speculations that there might be some linkage with Pakistani supported terrorists through the Colombo linkage, as has happened in the past. The Boko Haram kidnapping of some 300 schoolgirls is such a horrific crime that it does not actually have any parallel. There is nothing to compare it with. What is even worse is that nearly a month the government appeared to be completely inactive and there was no outcome, no clues as to what may have happened, where the children could be. Of course, there are stories going around, they may have been taken across the border into Cameroon. But it really is extraordinary that a government could be so passive in the face of such a huge terrorist act.
Moving to Ukraine, this week was marked by the tragic immolation of 40 pro-Russia supporters in Odessa. What does this event mean in the unfolding crisis in Ukraine?
It's a terrible event, and it is a pity that the many Western supporters of the government in Kyiv did not see it with the strongest condemnation. Naturally, it will continue to find resonance among people who are anti the government in Kyiv and people who would rather continue to have the closest association with Russia. Accompanied as this horrible incident was with military action taken by the government of the government in Kyiv against protesters and militants in eastern cities, where also a very large number of people have become casualties of that action. This can only bode ill for the future of Ukraine.
Looking ahead, after months of turmoil in Thailand, Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra was forced to resign by the Constitutional Court. What is your outlook on Thailand?
Oh, I think it's really a tragedy that the courts have now entered this in such a big way, forcing out a democratically elected government and a party that clearly has the majority popular support in Thailand. Things can only go from bad to worse. Already the rate of economic growth has fallen to below 3%. Very little new investment from abroad will be coming in, and there will be more and more political paralysis. But worst of all is the deepening divisions between the urban rich and the rural poor, and that can continually slide from the kind of protest movements that are ongoing in Bangkok at the moment. That can easily slide into low-grade civil war as well, unless at some point some sense prevails and the persecution of this party, which of course has genuine charges of corruption against it, but it is hardly the case that other governments in Thailand have not been guilty of the same kinds of corruption. So I think it's a tragic development, and it is entirely possible that whenever the next election is held, which had already been preponed, the same party will get elected again and everything will be at the same impasse.
Okay.